All right, it's match day. Back for another deep dive, and you guys know that means a special pre-match analysis. And this one was requested by you. Today we're taking a look at Real Madrid versus Liverpool, a game that has everyone talking, that's for sure. But real quick, before we get into it, I want to give a huge shout out to all our amazing subscribers. You know, you guys are the reason we do this, and we honestly appreciate your support so much. And hey, if you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button and share this deep dive with all your football-loving friends. Let's spread the love for the beautiful game, right?
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
Okay, so our producer notes pointed us towards some key talking points for today's deep dive. But as always, we did some extra digging to make sure we're bringing you the full picture. You know, got to keep you guys informed. So let's get down to business. What's the state of play with Liverpool?
Well, Liverpool's recent form has been pretty impressive, that's for sure. Under their current coach, Arne Slot, they've been on a roll. You know, our sources show they're at the top of the Premier League table right now. But we can't just look at the standings, right? There are some interesting things happening behind the scenes that could impact this match.
Okay, I'm all ears. What kind of interesting things are we talking about?
Well, for starters, they've had their fair share of injuries lately. A few key players have been sidelined, and their availability for this match is still kind of up in the air.
So a bit of uncertainty hanging over the Liverpool camp then.
Exactly. For example, the sources mentioned Costas Tsimikas and Harvey Elliott as potential returnees. Having them back would be huge for Liverpool, but if they're rushed back too soon, well, it could backfire.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a delicate balance, isn't it?
Right.
Rushing players back from injury can sometimes do more harm than good.
Absolutely. And then there's the situation with Alisson Becker and Trent Alexander-Arnold. They're both vital players for Liverpool, but they're also carrying knocks.
So their potential absence could really shake things up.
It certainly could. You know, their defensive solidity really relies heavily on those two. If they're not at 100%, Real Madrid might try to exploit that.
Now that you mentioned exploiting weaknesses, let's talk about some of the specific threats Liverpool might pose, even with these potential absences.
Right, well, even with those potential injury concerns, Liverpool's attack is still something to be reckoned with. Alexis McAllister is likely back in the starting lineup, and we might even see Luis Diaz back on the pitch. Alongside Cody Gakpo, they have some serious firepower.
That sounds intimidating, even for a team like Real Madrid.
Indeed. And there's even a chance that Federico Chiesa could feature in this match. His creativity and goal-scoring ability would add another dimension to their attack.
Wow, that's quite the arsenal. Real Madrid's defense will definitely have their work cut out for them.
Yes, especially if those key players are back and firing on all cylinders.
All right, so we got a Liverpool side potentially boosted by the return of some big names, but still facing a bit of uncertainty over a few key players. Where do we go from here? What else is jumping out at you from these sources?
Well, if we connect this back to Liverpool's overall approach, you know, Onslaught has really instilled this aggressive, high-pressing style. It's been incredibly effective for them, as we can see from their league form.
So even with these potential absences, we can expect Liverpool to come out with that same intensity.
I think that's a safe bet. Slot seems to have created a system where the players are confident and know their roles no matter who's on the pitch. You know, that kind of mentality can be very dangerous.
It's interesting you mentioned that because the producer notes actually highlighted a few tactical points we should consider. They suggested that Real Madrid might find it difficult to build from the back against this high press, especially if they're missing some key players themselves.
That's a great observation, and it's definitely something Real Madrid will need to be prepared for. We see in the past how Liverpool's high press can disrupt even the most composed teams. They force errors, win the ball high up the pitch, and create chances from those turnovers.
So a real test for Real Madrid's composure and their ability to play under pressure then.
Absolutely, and this is where the potential return of players like Alisson and Alexander-Arnold becomes even more crucial for Liverpool. Their experience and ability to read the game defensively could be vital in snuffing out any counterattacks Real Madrid might try to launch.
Okay, so we've talked about Liverpool's attacking threat and their aggressive style of play. What else should we be paying attention to in terms of their potential impact on the match?
Well, one thing that stands out to me is their set-piece prowess. They've scored a significant number of goals from set pieces this season, and that's another thing our producer flagged for us.
Set pieces, always a potential game changer. What makes them so dangerous in this area?
Well, they have a few factors working in their favor. First, they have excellent delivery from players like Alexander-Arnold and McAllister. And then they have tall, physically imposing players in the box who are great at winning aerial duels.
So a real threat from both the delivery and the aerial presence.
Yeah.
Real Madrid's defense will need to be on high alert.
Exactly. They can't afford to give away any cheap free kicks or corners, because Liverpool are very clinical when it comes to capitalizing on those opportunities.
It sounds like Liverpool, even with some potential absences, are coming into this match as a very well-rounded and dangerous opponent.
That's a fair assessment. They have a clear style of play, a manager who's instilled a winning mentality, and a squad capable of hurting you in multiple ways.
So for our listener who's a die-hard Madridista, what's the key takeaway here about Liverpool? What should they be most concerned about?
I think the main concern should be Liverpool's relentless pressing and their ability to transition so quickly from defense to attack. Real Madrid needs to be prepared to weather the storm early on and avoid giving away any cheap possession in dangerous areas.
That sounds like sage advice. All right, so we've painted a pretty clear picture of Liverpool's potential strengths and threats. But before we get too carried away talking about one side, we have to remember that this is a matchup between two of the biggest clubs in the world. I mean, Real Madrid has its own strengths, and they'll be looking to leverage those to counter Liverpool's threats. I'm sure they have some surprises up their sleeve as well.
Without a doubt, Real Madrid is a team that knows how to win, especially on the big stage. And we can't forget the historical context to this matchup. These two teams have a long and storied rivalry with plenty of memorable clashes in recent years.
You're right, those Champions League battles are the stuff of legend.
Exactly, and that history adds another layer of intrigue to this encounter. Both teams will be drawing on that past experience, using it as motivation to come out on top.
It almost feels like destiny that these two teams keep meeting in the knockout stages. The fans must love it.
Oh, absolutely. This is a matchup that gets the pulse racing for any football fan. The tactical battles, the individual brilliance, the passion on display, it's a recipe for a truly captivating spectacle.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I have to ask, what are you most looking forward to seeing in this match?
For me, it's the battle of styles. You have Liverpool's high-intensity pressing and quick transitions going up against Real Madrid's more measured build-up play and clinical finishing. It'll be fascinating to see which approach prevails.
Yeah, it's like a clash of philosophies almost. And with so much talent on both sides, we're bound to see some moments of magic.
You said it. This match has all the ingredients for a classic. So let's sit back, enjoy the beautiful game, and see which team writes the next chapter in this epic rivalry.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And to our listener, we hope this deep dive has given you a better understanding of what to expect in this Real Madrid versus Liverpool showdown. Remember, anything can happen on match day, right?
Yeah.
It's the beautiful unpredictability of football that keeps us coming back for more. Enjoy the match.